United, right? Alpha 61 United. Alpha 61 United, 5959. Candles John. Juliet Oscar November. Salam alaikum. Okay, Abdul, I copy 59. Alpha 61 United. Thanks for contact. Happy Easter. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Abdul. From Lima Yankee 5 Alpha. CQ20. From Lima Yankee 5 Alpha.
Hey, gang, what's going on? I was accosted by an individual earlier. I'm just kidding, not really. Regarding software for ham radio stuff. So I figured I would do. It's going to be very limited, and hopefully he's watching. But I know, Tim, some of you guys that frequent this channel have a lot more experience with all the different pieces of software than I do. So if you have a suggestion, hit me with it or stick it in the chat, and I will, well, it'll be in there in the chat for that particular individual. Good to see everybody. Life smacks. Life hacks. This is a good one, actually. And this is Steve, K1GMM, Kilo 1 Golf, Mike, the maniac in Vermont, the bringer of ham radio Cracker Jacks, the Down and Dirty channel. Life hacks, April 10th, Friday, 2020. It is snowing. They're supposed to get 6 to 10 inches of snow in north central Vermont tonight, and then tomorrow. Freaking hate this place. I really do. Oh. Just can't get a normal spring. We haven't had a normal spring in years. It stays sub-freezing, around the freezing mark, and snowing right through the month of April, and then all of a sudden, second week of May, it goes full tilt boogie to 90 degrees. So yeah, freak show. Good place for a freak to live, huh? Anyways, life quacks. How to figure out a 20% tip. Take the total bill amount, $35.54. Move decimal one place to the left, becomes $3.55. Double it, $7.10. That's 20% tip. That's a good one, isn't it? I'll never remember it. Today is Good Friday. The Christian holiday commemorates the crucifixion and death of Jesus of Nazareth. Good Friday is observed during Holy Week and the week between Palm Sunday and Easter, when Christmas reflects on the sacrifice of Jesus and anticipate Easter's celebration of his resurrection. We all know that, and we're grateful for his sacrifice. Okay. All right, moving on. Yeah, really, Paul. Hey, Eddie. 983. What's going on? So, this is really very quick and painless, and I'm going to leave it up to, I don't know which camera to look at because I have my Zoom camera on my daughter in her room, and I'm watching her eat her lunch, and we kind of keep track of each other as I'm down here in the shack. And the D. Schneider wig is right around my head there. Perfect. I kind of planned that. Anyways. What was I saying? Oh. This is not an exhaustive list. It's the best I can come up with. It's the stuff I have worked with before, except for one piece of software. And yes, I am, Paul. Same to you. And at least it's a starting point. So we'll get right to it. I'm going to leave it up to the individual. All the information's online. There is some stuff on my channel. You'll have to fish for it regarding configuration of the software and setup. But I was approached by, I think his name's Dennis, on the video I put up this morning as a big thank you for all the subscriptions. I have been ushered in to the YouTube partnership program because of you guys. And really cool. Go figure. Does it matter to me? Whatever. But I think that's a reflection of the success of the channel, and that has a lot to do with, well, as without the viewership, there'd be no channel. So I just rip the plug out of the wall, delete the account, and go do something else. Ooh-la! Hey, Chris, what's going on? So, up to you guys to download the software. Just do, you know what Google is. Do a Google search, download the software, find it. And there's plenty of configuration tutorials on all the software for the different radios. I couldn't possibly go into all of that. Sorry. Can I get your autograph, please? Yeah, I'll give you my autograph. I'll tell you where to put it, too. That's awful, isn't it? Nothing but love for you, Chris. What a turd, huh? Only a turd would say such a thing. Let me see if I can find. So let's get this up on the screen. I figured I'd put together a list, even though it's small. This isn't going to take long. If I can find it. I thought I opened it. Yeah, there it is. Alrighty then. So here is the list. Hey, Greg, how's it going? So here's the list. It's pretty basic. For newcomers, this is specifically for newcomers in the hobby. And any of you guys want to jump in on the chat and I'm sure I missed something that may be very good, but I tried to get the gist of the basic software to get people going. The first thing you need to do in the software, if you're going to run software with your HF rig, you have to have a way to get the rig to communicate with the software. So the very first thing you need to do is type in OmniRig in Google DX Atlas. Well, the first thing you need to do is get the driver. Get the driver for your rig. If you're running a 7300, go to the website, download the Silicon Labs driver, install it per instructions. You're done. Same with any other rig, I guess. I'm only referring to the 7300. It's the only one I have, and it's the only one I've done this with. If you have a Yaesu, Kenwood, whatever, follow the instructions. Download the driver for your rig so it's connected to the computer. Make sure it's connected. Look in the device manager, blah, blah, blah. Second thing, go get OmniRig by DX Atlas. And what that does is it allows your rig to communicate with the software. Okay, and set that up according to the instructions that you find. You're going to need your COM port. You're going to need to look in device manager, get the COM port. Okay, once that's done, you're off and running. Now, decide what software you want to use. I can tell, and do some reading about the software. There's a ton of stuff out there. Now, the WSJTX package is an extensive package. I believe it's got like MSK 144. It's got the FT8, FT4 modes, a whole host of modes. As a newcomer, FT8, FT4, they're all the rage. We here on the Maniac, hey Jerry, on the Maniac channel, we all call it the zombie apocalypse mode, because that's what you are when you play it. However, if you want to make contacts on nothing but a wet spaghetti noodle in 5 watts, you will kick Badinsky. So great mode if you have a compromised antenna. Get you on the air, and you can pretty much get your DXCC with very little or nothing. That's the beautiful thing about the FT8, FT4s. Great mode. Go ahead and, but you're going to want to look for WSJTX. Download the appropriate package, install it, and you're going to have to point that software to look at OmniRig. The OmniRig is the buffer between the software and the hardware. That's why you need OmniRig installed. Okay. Other modes like PSK, Olivia. There's a whole mess of them. If you like PSK, I love PSK personally. Jerry. There's a couple different pieces of software. If you can find an old the last free version of Ham Radio Deluxe, and grab that. That's for your Olivia, PSK modes, bunch of other modes. I believe it does do slow scan as well. I think that's what I used to do, slow scan, I don't know, a couple years ago. Not that great, I don't think. There's a better app for that, and we'll get to that. The alternative, okay, before I move on, Ham Radio Deluxe is a nice program to match if you're running SDR software like HD SDR. The reason why is Ham Radio Deluxe gives you a control surface for the radio on the computer. So most of the settings are available in HRD to control the radio via computer. And that can be very handy. Some people like that. I kind of like that. So I don't have to go fishing through the menus in the radio. It's right there on the screen. So that's kind of a dual purpose for Ham Radio Deluxe. And of course, the Digi modes all run through DM780, which is included in Ham Radio Deluxe. I know any new ham radio operators listening to this, his eyes are glazing over. Just stick to the list and then do your research after. There's plenty of information online. The other option I've heard, which I've never used before, is FL Digi. HRD5 last free version. Yes, right. Hey, Rick. And hey, Stuart, how's it going? I have never used FL Digi, and I talk to guys, I got friends, they love it. They will never use HRD for anything. I've heard FL Digi is very, very good. And it does make your breakfast, lunch, and dinner with a healthy appetizer and an incredibly rich dessert. It just works. I've never used it. Try it. Worth trying. Slow scan. Pretty much the tried and true program for slow scan is MMSS TV by MM Hamsoft. Do a search on that. Type that into Google. Take you right to it. That's for slow scan TV. A lot of fun. Started to get into it and just kind of, I don't know, life got in the way and I didn't really move on that. But it is very cool. I mean, you can be very creative. Get as creative as you want. It's kind of neat. Just messing around with it. I wish maybe at some point I'll do a lot more of that. Slow Scan TV, MMSS TV, SDR related software. This is in reference to what I call hybrid SDR. In other words, SDR systems piggybacked onto a traditional superhet HF rig. There's HD SDR, which is rather primitive, but works well. It's also a resource hog, which I'm not a fan of, but I do like it. I like it. I actually love HD SDR for just a point and click function. In other words, a reference. Point and click, it takes the radio wherever you want to go. You're actually not listening to it. You're still using the front end of the radio, but it gives you an on-screen pan adapter for pointing and clicking, and I find it very useful for contesting and stuff like that. Seeing as how I'm going blind because I'm old and crotchety. The other one is SDR console, which some of the Anon guys I've heard use. I don't know why they would use that, but SDR console, rather complex program to make your way to work around in, but once you get used to it, it's not bad at all, and it's actually very, very good. Noise reduction system algorithms in there, and the AGC control is almost second to none. It's very simple, and it's very easy and extremely effective. Probably one of the top two. As far as cumulative software, probably the best software for satellite work, for working linear satellites, sideband birds, inverting linear transponders. It falls short because it doesn't allow point and click on the pan adapter. In other words, you can click on the pan adapter, but it does not take the radio there. You have to zero beat the rig to the pan adapter, which is, and I think that's ridiculous, personally. I know the creator of it said he was going to work on it in 2015, and nothing's happened, so I wouldn't count on anything there. I think console, they really don't have any interest in the general ham community of support. I think what they do is, I think console is geared more for the people running like Hermes systems, Anon, Lime, stuff like that, and that's pretty obvious because in your TX area of the software, those are the only rigs that have any kind of support featured. Now you can use it like I have as a front end to the radio, which works really well via OmniRig. For rig control, you key the radio, kills the pan adapter. There's a very nice feature in SDR console, which I think is the only one that has this, a mute in TX function, which completely kills the pan adapter when you go into TX. That's really nice. I know SDR Uno does not I haven't found it yet. It does mute the audio in SDR Uno, but it doesn't mute the IF, which is a little annoying to me. SDR console does mute the IF. Let's see. I forgot all about the logging software. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot that. Yeah, so anyways, last one is SDR Uno. SDR, now keep in mind, all of these are designed to run with an SDR dongle or SDR receiver. There's a horde of SDR receivers ranging from $15 to $1,000, depending on how crazy you want to get, covering all different bandwidths. SDR Uno is the current one I'm playing with, and I'm finding the software to be rather cumbersome. But that being said, it is definitely more complex and more powerful than console. Exponentially more powerful because of diversity. It offers diversity reception, which changes the game radically. I've been able to suppress static crashing by 20 to 30 dB. I've been able to pull signals out of the mud that aren't even registering on the 7300, and to your ear you'd swear they were an S7. It's unbelievable, actually. It's pretty shocking, and I almost flipped over backwards in my chair. But they are completely different systems, console and Uno. Uno, is it worth it? No. If you're not going to go to a diversity setup, no, it's not worth it, in my opinion. It's way too complicated, and I'm going to do a complete, very in-depth video on it. Things I'm finding which are very good and very frustrating. So, but as far as functionality, it's awesome. It works great. But there's just quirks that could be made. It could be made to be better, quicker, easier. So, anyways, to run these particular pieces of software, you will most likely, if you're going to, like HDSDR and SDR console, oftentimes you will need to find the appropriate EXTIO DLL for the dongle that you're using, the SDR receiver, and drop them into the directory to make so that the software actually sees it and it will light up when you hit connect. Usually not a problem. You can find those online, drop them in the parent directory, and boom, off and running. I already covered, for satellite work, console, GQRX is far superior to console, except for the noise reduction function. SDR console has a auto notch feature where if you have any birdies on the band and you're trying to pull in a weak signal on a satellite, you can engage that auto notch and it will wipe that right out. It disappears. Now, keep in mind, GQRX is a Linux program. All these programs I'm referring to, I use Windows. I know some of them may be available for different operating systems. Don't ask me. You'd have to check. GQRX, that's supposed to be GPredict. GQRX is a Linux pan adapter, spectrum display, and control surface. Now, GQRX can be piggybacked onto GPredict. I meant to say SDR console and GPredict. Now, I've never been able to get GPredict running on Windows. Guys do it. I have no idea how they do it. No clue. GPredict is far superior as far as correcting for Doppler than SDR console is, for the simple fact that you can connect the pan adapter to GPredict. So anywhere you click on the pan adapter, it takes the radio there automatically. It functions just like SAT PC32, which is garbage. Don't waste your money if you're going to work satellites. That's a total waste of money. Unstable, absolute trash. That stuff should be thrown in the garbage. I don't know why people use it. You guys saw what happened to me when I tried to use it. So that's it for that. Okay. Logging programs. I can't believe I forgot the logs. Good heavens. Let me get... So I'm going to stick this in there. Hang on, I'll get over to the other screen. I'll just share what I've used. Now, I know there's... And hopefully the guys are putting stuff in the chat. And adding to this list, log 4OM. I'm going to tell you the reasons why I prefer certain things, and mileage may vary. Keep that in mind. Some people like certain things, others like other things for certain reasons. Log 4OM has been a phenomenal logger for me. It is a superb logger for satellites and HF. Now keep in mind it's a general logger. I have it set up so it automatically uploads to LOTW with a click of a... When I go to close it, it prompts me to upload any new QSOs to LOTW. And it does. And it's easy to set up. It's called Log4OM. However, do not use the latest version of Log4OM. It is garbage. They ruined it. You need to use the previous version, and I think you can still get it. And it's funny because I tried it and I immediately uninstalled it. It was an abomination. Made the satellite side of it completely unusable. I was talking to a guy on 75 meters on 3615. This is a few nights ago. Can't remember what his name was, and he was trying to get this stupid new Log4OM to work. He's got rotator controllers and all this other stuff, and it was a mess. So my advice would be to stay away from the latest release. Okay, there's November 1 Mike. So let me see if I can find that. Okay, there's November 1 Mike, excellent general and probably the best contest logger. Virtually every contest known to man. I've never found one that wasn't in there. Not particularly complicated, a little complicated as far as finding which log to load. The abbreviations for it are a little screwed up, and I don't know why they do it that way. But you can find it online. Very good logger. Also will sync up to your radio. There is, hang on a second. Okay, this is one log I use. It's a paid app, but it's not expensive. It's very good, very simple. It's probably the most passive program as far as being a port hog, and I'm going to get into this in a minute. Some of these programs, if you're sharing a COM port, and you have, let's say you have SDR console running on a COM port on the radio, right? And you want to run the logger and have the logger track the radio. Some of this software like N3FJP, November 1 Mike, is November 1 Mike. I had fairly good results with it in the last event because I did run it, but I think it has a lot to do with the computer hardware. I'm on a real barn burner. It's an ass kicker. I just built it about a month and a half ago, and it's a little wonky on here, and I don't know if it's USB port saturation. I've got 3.1s, 3.0s. It's a 9700K Coffee Lake, 32 gigs of 3K RAM, and it's running currently at 4.7 gig clock speed with a maximum temperature at never goes above 30 degrees Celsius. It's an absolute killer. I've never seen it go above 30 degrees Celsius on any of the cores. It's an 8-core, and it's a cooking machine. 1050 Ti graphics, 768 CUDA cores. Very capable machine, right? But some of these programs will they'll hog the COM port, and the software will start freaking out. So this one I found WriteLog to be very passive. One of the most passive pieces of software when your rig is connected to another piece of software. There's a bunch of logging programs you can use. I think that's it. Now all the software except for WriteLog is free, and of course the paid version of HRD. You will have to pay for the latest version of HRD. That's a paid version. I would not do that. So FL Digi is free, MMSS TV is free, JTX is free, OmniRig DX Atlas is free, HDSDR is free, Console, Uno is all free. November 1 Mike is free, Log4OM is free. So I think that's... Oh, and one last thing. You will need to run, if you keep in mind, this is for newcomers, if you want to run multiple pieces of software connected to your radio, you will need some kind of virtual serial port creator or emulator. There's two that I would recommend. One is COM0Com. That's one. And the other one, which is free. And the other one is VS Victor Sierra Papa Echo Virtual Serial Port Emulator, which is the one I use. It's not expensive and very easy to configure. And what it allows you to do is share your COM port with multiple pieces of software. Hopefully that's it. That's basically it in a nutshell. So let me check the chat and see what I missed. And I'm sure I missed a lot. Now again, this is all stuff that I have used. Yes, I've used that before, Rick. Yes, November 1 Mike has a pan adapter included with it when you're running it, which with the 7300 I heard is really neat. Well, I've used it. Yep, Tim, Com0Com. There you go. BSP Manager. Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, you guys, this stuff is created by human beings, okay? Nobody's freaking perfect. And if anybody tells you they're perfect, grab a 2x4 full of nails and slam it on the side of their head because they're lying bastards. Anything that's created by a human is not perfect. So remember that. Don't get frustrated when the software has a friggin' brain out and just flips its lid and decides not to work anymore. Or it's got glitches. It's one of those things. I'm just warning you, if you play this game, you're going to have to kind of weed through the muck a little bit. So I think that's basically it. And if anybody has additional recommendations, chuck them in after the video renders in the comments section, and maybe it'll help some of the new guys out. Like I always say, there's so many different ways to skin that freaking cat. The only variable that never changes, the only constant in the equation is you need a really sharp knife. Sharper the freaking better. I'll see you. I haven't run JS8. That's the one I was trying to think of, Jerry. JS8 call. That was just taken off, last fall, I think, right? I haven't played with that. I don't know. Supposed to be good. Really good. It's kind of like it brings it's a little bit more conversational, correct? It allows a little bit more interaction. It's not just like FT8 where it's -2, 7-3 out of there. You know what I mean? The exchange 7-3 gone. I gotta try that. I forgot all about that, Jerry. Thanks for the suggestion. All right, you guys, behave yourselves. I'm gone. I'll see you later. Hopefully this was, I don't know. I did this literally off the cuff, and I don't even know if it's of help or not. To Newham, maybe. Hey, Lester. W3LES, good to see you. All right, I'm signing off. Have a good day, you guys. Out of here. I might be back later. We'll see. I'm going to go out and get some lunch. I wanted to do this before lunch. Have a good one. Good to see everybody. Anybody watching, I say this every time. If you want to know what's coming up and you want to be notified, go ahead and subscribe. Click the bell icon, and you'll get a notification of anything coming. If not, you know me, man. I don't care. It's totally your call. It's up to you. Oh, you never guessed what I did, what I got. Oh, crap. I was going to tell you guys this. Not that anybody really cares, but I find it absolutely hilarious. Where is it? I'll see if I can find it. I got to show you this. I don't understand. Oh, I think this is it. Check this out, you freaks. Look at this. This is a freaking crack up. If I can get my computer to do what I want it to do. Look. How the frick did that happen? I don't even remember working the New England QSO party last year. First place, Vermont High Power. And the NEQ, what the flippin' heck, man? Honest to God. And that's the honest truth. I don't even remember working it last year. I don't even remember submitting a log. I swear that these guys are making mistakes on this stuff. See you guys later. Hey, Brent. It's too funny. Freaking see ya.